This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
It's 11:07 at WPSL 1590, the talk of the Treasure Coast. And you are on Never Alone from Harbor Place with Jack Waldrop, who's makeup, hair, boy, he's New Year's Eve.
No hair and makeup today. Just though I probably should do some
Oh,
I got some gray going on in my chin here.
You do. Well, that's probably hanging out with me. That's
How have you been?
Wonderful. I had a great Christmas. How was yours?
It was good. I actually, very last minute, Wednesday of last week, decided to drive the 9 hours to my parents' house. I left at like 3 a.m, drove up, worked with my dad to make sure my mom was not home. And when she opened the garage, she started crying because she thought my dad bought her a new car. And my dad was like, "No, silly." And of course I was standing there, and then she started bawling. So it was good. It was good. She wasn't expecting me to come home. So she played the guilt trip. I'm 70. I might not have any more Christmases. So I jumped in the car and decided to go home. And today is actually my first day back at the building, and trying to play catch up from being gone since Wednesday of last week.
Oh, well, hey, that's so cool, though.
Hey, listen, I wanted to tell you, thank you for this wonderful piece of chocolate. This thing is huge.
Yes. And he's holding it up to the camera as we speak. Yeah.
It is huge.
And it is also the healthy dark chocolate from Bruno's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't even opened it yet, but I want to go find, I've never been to this Bruno Chocolate Creations either. Now I'm tempted to go figure out where it is.
You just head right up US 1. You're not quite at the roadway that will take you to St. Lucie International Airport. And it's right on the right side. It's Bruno's Chocolate Factory.
I've been here 2 years. We have an international airport in Port St. Lucie.
Not in Port St. Lucie, but it's in Fort Pierce. It's
yeah. Okay.
It has been it's old military installation, long runway, and and that will be, I think it's called Treasure Coast International now. That will be the home of I think they're looking at 7 or 8 gates to get things going.
Really?
There's finally going to have commercial service. JetBlue and Southwest are both, I think they're talking 3 or 4 flights each. It's still probably 2-3 years away, but
still, that's awesome.
It's good news. Yeah. They've been talking about it for 25 years. So yeah. Yep.
I know when I travel now, I travel out of West Palm.
Yeah. And so do we. Yeah. And West Palm is getting a lot more flights. And actually West Palm is really helping Treasure Coast because West Palm is landlocked. They can't do anything. And actually, you can fit West Palm into maybe not even 3/4 of St. Lucie International property.
Wow. Okay.
You could fit all of Fort Lauderdale into St. Lucie International property. It's huge up there. And when we got here in 93, there was a company buying up properties around the airport because, back in 93, they were planning for this.
Right.
During the first explosion here of population. So it's amazing, but it's going to become a reality now. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
I mean, I know the Midway area just continues to grow. And the work that they've done. When I first moved here, I lived off of Midway, and just from 2 years ago now, January will be 2 years, the change on Midway has been crazy.
Sure.
And And everybody says, for the longest time when I first got here, I was like, they're doing roadway. They've always been doing word That was like the running joke.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it was Christmas is so cool for us. We Carol's old Indiana University roommate is in Fort Lauderdale,
Okay.
and so we went down there to visit them, and their granddaughter was there. And Carol used to make gingerbread houses when she was like 6 or 7, and ironically, uh, thank you, Google Photos. We found some of the old photos, and
Wow.
she, not Dropbox, what's it called? AirDrop.
Airdropped them. Yeah.
She airdropped them to her phone. She knew how to do it. I mean, she's 15 years old now. So
Right.
it's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, wow, it's incredible. Yep.
That it is. I mean, it just continues to be growth after growth. So
Yeah. Well, and like a lot of things, it's kind of shifted because the heavy growth now is coming up from West Palm and Miami.
it is. I've noticed, they're starting to build again in the Tradition area and Becker and all of that, which was on a standstill for the
Yes.
longest time. But
Yep.
as they're moving up from West Palm into that area, so I think we're going to start seeing a lot more growth on that side of town as well.
Well, and all you have to do when you're in Miami and you're coming up the turnpike, look at some of the developments along the turnpike. Come see our affordable housing in Port St. Lucie. It's like, okay, yeah, well,
Yeah.
compared to Miami, it is.
Right, exactly. Yep. I used to live outside of Austin, Texas, in a place called Lakeway, which is on Lake Travis, and it's absolutely gorgeous. But the price of living there is worse than Miami. Like your mean home, your average home there will run you about $550 to $750. Like it's ridiculous.
In Texas?
Yes.
Well, Austin's exploding though. I mean,
it is. And that's what's caused the growth and the reason they're getting what they are for houses. I looked the other day, the house that I used to rent there for $2,300 a month, 2 years later is at $2,800 a month. Same house, not brand new anymore. It was brand new when I moved into it, and renting at $2,800 a month. That's crazy.
Our loan payment isn't anywhere close to that.
Right?
That is unbelievable.
It
Wow.
is. It is. It's nuts, to be perfectly honest.
Well, and that come right back to how can anybody afford something like that? I mean, you're
And renting, that's what's horrible is there are people who can't afford that, who can afford half of that, but can't qualify to get a home loan in order to live in a home, and they're paying rent. I mean, it's a catch-22. That at $2,800 a month, that's what a single apartment in my independent living that provides 3 meals a day, that's what they're paying. All those amenities and things, that's why their rent is what it is. You don't get that in a home that you're just renting.
Wait a minute. Did you say that? Hold on. I'm going to hold you to it. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Can you go? Oh.
We do. So we currently offer 3 meals a day. And so and part of that is when COVID started. A little bit before that, we had changed our agreement a little bit. We were 2 meals a day in independent living for maybe a year before COVID, but it was due to some other things. But it really was during COVID. There was no option to changing back to our original lease because people couldn't go shopping. We were trying to keep everybody safe. So 3 meals a day in the dining room. And here shortly, our bistro is going to reopen. So which we're hoping to open by mid-January to the public. And we will be back on track with getting back to as normal as life can be post-COVID, which isn't really post-COVID, but you know what I mean. We're getting back to our events. We have a fabulous one with Dr. Wizecki in January that we're looking forward to. I can't wait to have people back in the building for seminars and things like that. It's even with the latest variant, we're keeping people as safe as possible, but trying to get people back to their normal or normalcy as we can with life.
And I know Dr. Joe has addressed the staff at the St. Lucie Medical Center a lot in his seminars, but he is so amazing. Of course, he's, tomorrow he'll be on Bone Talk. He's a regular with Dr. Rob Sellards. And so, as a non-operative guy, he's got so many great ideas
Yes.
for folks, and they really need, again, is it open to the public? Because that's people need to hear him. Yeah,
it sure is. All they have to do is give us a call to schedule to RSVP their spot. We'll have heavy hors d'oeuvres. It's going to be a great event. I went to him personally. I messed up my elbow and had really bad tendonitis and a bone spur. And he said, there's the option of surgery if you really want to go down that route, or we can do anti-inflammatories and do a bunch of different things. And he suggested, I had massage therapy on my elbow, all of that kind of stuff. And it truly, my elbow's back to normal. Whereas any other doctor would have said, let's do surgery, let's clean it up, attach things like they're supposed to be. And, I'm glad I didn't go that route. I'm glad I listened. It took a while, much longer than having surgery, but I can finally throw a bowling ball again, which is fantastic.
well, and far less painful as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, and they've got so many things at Florida Orthopedic that their therapy folks, and I've been through there twice, and they're miracle workers. They really are.
Yeah, I've had multiple, I was an athlete, so I've messed up just about every joint in my body at this point, but I've had 2 knee surgeries and a hip surgery. And, if I had listened to my doctor then when I had my hip surgery, or listened to my body per se, I would not have had to go through what I went through on the surgery. And so I guess being older and more wiser, that is true. You do get wiser with age. I listened to what he said and didn't just jump to having surgery. And it's done great. I'm excited to see what he has to say, because he is, like I said, he's not a jump to surgery person. And I think that's fantastic. And for seniors, the last thing we want to do is put someone under anesthesia that doesn't have to go under anesthesia. It will do a number. It takes longer for the elderly to come out of that anesthesia and that fog. We always refer to doctors that don't want to jump to, we have to have surgery unless it's a true emergency.
Yeah, that's good word of advice there. And again, what's the date on this?
You had to ask me, and I had it up just a second ago and then I closed it. Give me just a second. I believe it's the 22nd of January, but don't hold me to that for 2.2 seconds. It is the 20th. See, I knew it was in the 20s. It's the 20th. All you have to do, like I said, is give us a call, 772-337-4330. Just let them know that you're calling about the orthopedic seminar that's going to be going on, and we will put your name down. We only have room for so many, and that's because we want to keep everybody COVID safe. So those will fill up fairly quickly. So make sure you call and get in on that. And that way, I'm sure he's going to have a question and answer period, and he's wonderful at talking through things.
Well, and Dr. Joe may bring his new assistant too, his little baby. So yeah, he's a new daddy. So yeah, he's all excited. Yeah,
I'm sure he is. And then we also have an after hours networking. So that's with the chamber. And so any business that wants to attend, that's going to be on the day before, on the 19th. It's 5:30 to 7. So if you're a business owner and would like to come to that, It's a professionals event. We'll be hosting that as well. We like to have, we usually have anywhere from 100 to 125 people, I think they said. So we'd love new people. Just go look on the chamber and look at that as well, because we really want people to come in and see. And we're hoping, we did another walkthrough that by the end of March, we'll be able to have an open house on our assisted living side, so everyone can take a view of all the renovations that we've done. Right now, we're on schedule to complete our assisted living at the end of March, and then the focus will move over to the independent living, and we'll be doing the things here, finishing up some apartments, rehanging some wallpaper in sections, things like that. And so I'm really looking forward to it. This has been a long run of renovations. With COVID, we had about 6 months there that we couldn't even bring in any crews to work. So we were mid-construction with nothing going on, which was not a fun situation. But we are back hitting it hard and heavy. And we hope to have the assisted living, like I said, completed by the end of March. We were shooting for the end of January, 1st of February, but I think it's going to be the end of March.
Wow, that's amazing. So you weren't hurt there. Obviously, COVID messed you up, but you weren't hurt by any of the supply chain mess ups?
It took a while to get carpet because we recarpeted all of the hallways, things of that nature. And that took a while to come in. Unfortunately, the tile and the things that are in the actual apartments was already pre-ordered because we ordered it in bulk since we were doing all of the apartments. And so it did take a little while to get the custom carpets in the hallways. But other than that, we've had some supply chain issues with food because that tends to really put a damper. Like, I don't even know if it's fixed. We couldn't get prunes, of all things.
Oh, yeah. Well, all you have to do is go through a Publix and you see empty shelves. I mean,
Yeah.
there's and things you don't even think about.
Yes. Prunes. Prunes.
Yeah.
I had residents that were upset because we couldn't serve them prunes. Well, it was like, I can't even go to the grocery store and get you prunes. There are no prunes. So it's been difficult, but we try to work through it, and we're doing the best we can with the supply and trying. We have a wonderful person in Cleveland at our support center that's all that they do. That's their job, is trying to keep our supply chain going on food and getting things here. For instance, Nestle. They used to do a frozen coffee, and we had coffee machines in our activity rooms and things like that.
I remember those. Yeah.
They have completely stopped making the product. So yeah, they no longer offer the coffee that goes in those coffee machines. And so, and of course, residents love, it's always the way it works. Residents love that particular coffee. And we don't have that anymore. And there's really nothing that I can do to replace that frozen coffee, which to me, I don't know, that doesn't sound good to me. Frozen coffee, like, literally comes frozen, it just goes in the machine. But we're going with a new company, but that takes time. And again, working with getting products, and the supply chain is just, it's awful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you just hear it, and it's, I was thinking, okay, it's just the computer chips, and it's just, so I'm not going to get a new car, so I don't have to worry about it. Well, and then all of a sudden you walk into a grocery store and you start seeing all these shelves that are cleaned off, and you realize, Houston, we got a problem.
And the cost of things.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's harder to get it, or they're having a labor shortage. And so they're having to pay more to actually get the product to you, or even get it into the warehouse in order to do whatever they need to do to get it to you. And so prices have gone through the roof. There was almost a prime example, driving from here to Mobile, Alabama. There was about a 75-cent difference in gas here than there was in Mobile, Alabama.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I know that varies, but for the most part, it's been pretty close. But just the fact, and I guess I never really paid attention to it because I don't drive home that often. But this time, I was like, wow, this is crazy. And that's stopping at Big, because I drove at 3 a.m. Stopping at, having to stop at like Love's and Wawa's and things that are open 24 hours. So I couldn't imagine these little gas stations, that's the reason why their prices are so high, is they can't get it because the bigger things have it.
Well, and it all depends too on the local taxing authorities, because
Yeah.
say gas is more expensive in Port St. Lucie than it is in Fort Pierce, just simply because of the different tax things.
Yep.
So
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sure
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
But I walked through the dining room last week before I left, and I had a resident ask me, I heard you on the radio. And one of the other residents said, he's on the radio? And we were like, yes, every single week. Just tune in. Yeah, and it's funny, if you're listening, Miss D, I love you. Mwah. She was so excited that she had been listening, and I told him, just tune in every Tuesday. I'm on there. Listen, and we talk about different things going on and the community and things and all of that. So thank you to my residents that tune in. We absolutely love it. And we look forward to seeing everybody every week as well.
Well, and that's just the fact that you are going to have a chamber function there is huge. We're just trying to claw our way out of this thing as we head into year 3 of this mess.
Yeah, it's just been great. I mean, I have 2 associates right now that are out because they've had direct contact with someone in their home that's had COVID. And so I can't encourage enough for people to get their booster shot. Remember that they were saying we're 6 months. If you've been 6 months out from your shot, you really need to look at getting your booster. This new variant, even though it's not as deadly as the original, it does transfer from people to people very easily. And so I can't encourage enough. Get your booster. Stay on top of it. I think it's going to be something like the flu shot that we're going to have to do every year. And that's not a bad thing. Everybody, it is what it is. And you can choose to take the vaccine or not take the vaccine. That is your own personal right and your own personal health. But I do encourage you, if you did get it, get your booster and stay on top of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and of course, we'll start our travels through the Southern Conference schools beginning next week. And we've got to have our shot cards up to date, for the schools that we're traveling to. Yeah. Oh yeah. And probably, I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't talked to the trainer and won't until next week, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to be testing again.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't have a problem with that.
No, I mean, when I went on my cruise in November, we had to test no more than 2 days before we got on the boat. And you had to have your vaccination card. It had to be up to date, all of that kind of stuff. So I think that's the only way we're going to keep from spreading it at large events is people be tested and still take the precautions that they need to take.
Now, when you went on the cruise, did you have to actually show the actual card, or could you show your phone?
No, you had to upload it into your record. So you had to take a picture and upload it. And then when you got there, just like with your passport or anything, you have to show your card as well as your passport or your birth certificate, depending on what you use.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's
And they check it. Oh yeah. They were like, I will say this, and I went on Royal Caribbean. They were fantastic about making sure there were people that were walking around holding boxes of masks, and that was their job. If you didn't have a mask on, they were handing you one to make sure you put it on. I tease that's what I need someone here. I'm just going to have someone walk around with masks all day long. reminding people, hey, make sure you wear your mask. But it's everybody's right. When you're on Royal Caribbean, they can tell you to put it on, but being here, it is your right to put it on or not wear it. We just strongly encourage it to keep everybody safe.
When you're playing in their country club, you have to follow their
Follow
rules.
That is exactly right. That's exactly right. Yep.
I don't have a problem with that.
No.
It's as we've been able to see. I mean, there were some people who thought this was a political thing. Well, it's gone far beyond that, and
Yeah.
that it's not. But I get the fact that, I mean, the cruise lines especially. I can't even imagine with those ships and virtual dry dock for a year.
Yeah.
How much those lines lost.
Well, and I look at it like this. I paid. I knew what the rules were before I ever got on the boat. If I had a problem with it, then I shouldn't have gone on the ship. And
Right.
that's the way I felt when I was on there. I wore my mask like I was supposed to, and those people who wouldn't wear it and they would get aggravated, I'm like, you knew before you got here. Same thing. I saw a video the other day of a lady on an airplane that was refusing to put her mask on. And I'm like, you knew the whole time. You knew when you booked it and when you checked in. Delta's very clear when you check in about their rules. And I think that's what's so frustrating with people, for me anyway, is it's not like, hey, this is new. We've been going on almost 2 years at this point. And if you don't want to follow the rules, don't go there. Drive yourself. I know that's not always an option. Don't go to the store that requires you to wear a mask. Just follow the rules. It's not that complicated.
And I know the thing is with myself in particular, I'll have to run back to the car to get a mask at the store because you fall out of the habit of doing
Yes.
it as well.
Yeah, you do. And there was a time there where I didn't wear mine going to Walmart, but we didn't have the new variant coming out. And so I've changed my thinking. When I go to big places like that, I try to stay in my 6 feet from people, don't get around me, and try to keep myself safe. But it's hard. When I tested again this morning, just because I traveled all the way to Alabama and back. Anytime I travel on through airplanes for the company, when I get back the first day back, I test that morning before I'm out and about in the community. I want to make sure that I'm keeping my residents here safe. I don't want to be the person that brought it into the building unknowingly. Because I've traveled for work or I took a personal vacation. I'm very safe about it, and I think anybody that truly cares about the community, cares about everyone, that's the way you have to look at it at this point. And unfortunately, we have grown in a society to be more of a me, and it's all about me type situation. And when we move away from that and back to what's best for our community, I think you will start seeing some change. But that also means that the ones that are me have to be teaching their children that it's about the community, or we're never going to outgrow that.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Well, now, how many people were at your parents' house outside of your mom and dad?
Just my immediate family. So me, my brother, my mom and dad. Neither one of us are married. Neither one of us have children. So it was just the four of us. And I didn't go anywhere. I stayed at their house for the days that I was there. Now, my parents went to church, but they're real careful because they have me as their child, and I preach to them what they need to do and not do.
Sure.
But other than that, they didn't really go anywhere either. And so it's not that I want them, they are older. I don't want them to be recluses at all. I encourage them, go out, do things, go places. They're both vaccinated. They're scheduled to get their booster, all of those sorts of things. But they also wear an N95 mask when they go out in big places. They typically they order and they'll pick it up and come to the house if they're going to have if they're not going to cook at home, those things to be safe. Not because, like I said, it's not because we want to live in a bubble. Trust me, I couldn't live in a bubble. I would go nuts. And so but it was a relaxing time, and so we stayed safe. We watched movies, we ate, I probably ate more in the past 5 days than I've eaten in 2 months. But that's what the holidays are about.
Thank you, Mom.
Yep. And Christmas Eve is special for us. My mom's sister, who was like my grandmother, because part of the reason that I do what I do, I had lost all of my grandparents by the time I was 16. I was almost 17 when my last grandparent passed away. And so on my mom's side, they had both passed away before I was even a year old. So I never knew them. I just heard stories. So my mom's sister, who was older, kind of filled that role for my brother and I. She became like our grandmother. She was our aunt, but she was that grandmother figure. I spent weekends with her. When my parents went on their 25th anniversary, I stayed with her for a week. That's just what she did. So every Christmas Eve, because we didn't have that set of grandparents, we spent it with my aunt, and we did that side with her daughter and her best friend, who is also like an aunt. She's my Aunt Karen. I mean, she will always be. We're Southern. We have aunts that truly aren't aunts. And so my Aunt Karen, but anyway, my Aunt Gail, who is my mom's sister, we always did Christmas Eve with her, and we did what we call macho nachos. Which it's not even nacho. I mean, it's nacho chips, but it's got ham and lettuce and tomato and sour cream and cheese.
Ham?
So it's not,
whoa.
Yes, ham or turkey. It's like sliced ham and turkey. You heat it in the microwave, and then you put your lettuce and tomato and sour cream. And so we had macho nachos for Christmas Eve, and we did our normal. My aunt passed away. It's been several years now, probably about 15. Since my aunt passed away very suddenly of a brain aneurysm. She loved flamingos, and I have since taken over the love for flamingos, but we have a flamingo that we pass around from family member to family member. And we write this little poem about that family member, about the last year and the things they've gone through, and that whole sappy sentimental stuff. But we do all of that in remembrance of my aunt, and we talk to my cousin that doesn't live near them, and all of that. So it's good. We continue to honor those that have passed, and it's a good thing. And even though we're a small knit family, with my brother and I both, I'm divorced, and then my brother is a widow. We tend to be very close. We always have been a very close family.
Well, now, of course, if they are a little older, I take it, any candidates for staying with you at Harbor Place?
So funny you should say that. So my mom's best friend, they always tease, if something happens to my dad, then they're just going to move in a 2-bedroom apartment in one of the buildings that I'm running, and just live there. And I was like, no, I will find a place for you, but the two of you are not living in the building that I go to every day, because I don't think I could handle it. Not so much that I don't want you here. I don't trust what we do, and not that it's beautiful, but just the fact that my mother would be living in the community that I'm overseeing every day. She would be in my office about something, and it would not be coming in here just to chit chat and love on me and to see how things are going. There would be something that she'd be complaining about, because she's mama and you need to get it fixed.
Yep, just watch for Mama's clipboard as she walks through the facility.
Yep. So, but yeah, that's kind of my why I do what I do, and I really fell in love with the industry. I've always, first part of my career, my undergrad is actually in psychology, with an emphasis in special needs children. And so I worked with birth defects, specifically spina bifida and cerebral palsy, from birth to 5. And I did that for several years. And Then I went back to working in the doctor's office in the hospital. And then I had a nurse that I worked with that was a social worker that was like, you're really good with children and elderly. Have you thought about going into the assisted living side? And of course I hadn't. I didn't know much about it. I didn't know what was available, how you even did it. And so she got me in touch with an executive director at one of the buildings that she worked at, interviewed, and I started out as the business office director. And then because I had been running doctor's offices and ERs and was a practice manager, that kind of stuff. And then eventually moved into getting my administrator's license. And then I'm licensed in Texas, Florida, and Alabama. And then last year in 2020, I completed my MBA in healthcare management. So, and then I actually am starting back on my PhD.
Whoa. Oh, no, not another person who just can't stay out of school. I love it.
Yes.
PhD. Oh, we'll call you. Hello, doctor.
Yep. So it'll take me about 2 years to finish it. But I am, that was one of the things I kind of started. I started it after I finished my MBA, and I just was like, COVID was really busy and it was just too much. So I'm going to go back and really hit it and get my classes out of the way and write my wonderful dissertation and get it going again.
So now where will you get your doctorate from?
So same place I got my undergrad. It's Columbia, Columbia Southern University. Sorry. It's out of Orange Beach.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. We are playing two Alabama schools. One is, let's see, it's Southern College or something, Southern Union. And that's, I think, somewhere around Mobile. And then we're playing another one, Shelton State, which I think is Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
Sister school to, University of Alabama.
Yeah, that is in Tuscaloosa. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it should be an interesting week for the rest of the week here.
I'm sure. So when do y'all actually, so Southern Union's in Wadley. Sorry, I was Googling it because I don't know where that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that is. I've looked at the campus. It's a little camp. They're both very small schools. I was shocked to see, of course, we're used to 30,000 kids at IRSC, and you've got 2,700 or something at each one of those schools, or I think 6,000 in one of them. But it's amazing. Yeah, we'll be playing Thursday and New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, we have a 12 o'clock tip.
Oh, wow.
Southern Union. And we're playing up in Melbourne at the tournament up there. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So that Southern Union's up near, it's above Montgomery, Alexander City area.
Okay.
But yeah. So Montgomery is where I got my undergrad. I went to Faulkner University in Montgomery. So spent a lot of time. I have friends that live in Alexander City.
Wow. Mentioned two schools and you've been there.
I've not been. Southern Union sounded so. I want to say when I first, I was also, my undergrad was a long time ago, and Faulkner was a little bit smaller. I want to say we played Southern Union in basketball and things like that. So
very cool. Wow. That's amazing. Well, you just can't let loose those Bama ties, can you?
I will never let loose of my University of Alabama ties. I am a Roll Tide through and through.
What? Wait a minute. Now your office looks like a normal office. Where's your Roll Tide stuff?
That's in my home office.
Oh,
so if I ever do the radio from home, because I've traveled, then you'll see it because that's in my home office.
Gotcha. Well, I was going to say, it's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Try to keep it. My diplomas and everything are in here, but I try to keep all my memorabilia at home in my office professional.
Well, and COVID is just wreaking havoc with the bowl games. As it turns out, Central Michigan has just replaced the University of Miami at the Sun Bowl. Poor Washington State was already in El Paso when they found out Miami wasn't coming. So the bowl committee had to scramble because of COVID. The Arizona Bowl in Tucson was canceled, and that's where Central Michigan was. So
Right.
they just got a bunch of buses and head to El Paso. So, and I've done that.
Crazy.
Yeah. So Central Michigan's going to be playing in the Sun Bowl this weekend. Yeah.
And I feel like there's a ton of college students that are not vaccinated. They're just not taking the risk because they're athletes. And
it is very interesting now. I don't know whether you had a chance to read, speaking of your Alabama Crimson Tide, but if a team is hit with COVID, that there is a forfeiture rule now, which I have a hard time believing this simply because of network television.
Yeah.
That if the other team can't perform, it's a 2-0 victory for whomever. And if the other series can't perform, that would be, say, a forfeiture as well. And then if none of those could perform, they just take whatever best record and look at that and declare a national champion. It's like, you've got to see it. It's on the ESPN page.
I am going to totally look at that because that just seems crazy.
It does. And I know if there are any network television executives listening, they're pulling their hair out just even thinking of something like that. But
yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. But like last night, 21 players for New Orleans Saints were out with COVID. They had taxi squad guys, the quarterback.
The quarterback has never even played a game.
That's right. Yep.
So my mom is a huge Saints fan, so I had to listen to this while I was at home for Christmas, but he's never even played a NFL game. He's been quarterback with them for years, but truly never even been on the field.
He's fourth quarterback. And so anyway, and the poor kid, and of course they're doing a whole thing on the Miami sports station this morning. Apparently he is now the 13th straight Notre Dame quarterback to lose his initial NFL game. And, you'd have to go all the way back to Brady Quinn in the 90s. Is the last Notre Dame player to win his first game in the NFL. That's an unbelievable stat, but yeah, crazy. So
that is crazy.
Well, next time Coach Saban is down here recruiting, I'll get you a ride on his helicopter.
You just call me. I will show up wherever. I don't care if it's 3 a.m. I will show up and I will shake his hand and I will be one happy camper.
It's so funny because you hear other coaches talk, and this was an incident that occurred in Broward County where he literally helicoptered onto the baseball field.
Yeah.
And there's these other major college coaches that are there.
Right.
And they're going, are you kidding me? And this guy walks in like royalty. It was so
when you have a record and a reputation like he does, you do what you can.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's turned around not just college teams. Look at his professionalism in everything that he's done.
Sure.
And the things that he's done for Tuscaloosa. That's what everybody talks about. Oh, it's just Nick Saban. He has done so much for Tuscaloosa itself that it's amazing. Like just when the tornadoes hit, out of his own pocket, the things that he did to revamp the community. It's fantastic. He truly is about the community. It's not just about football for him. Football is his job. But it's about a family, and anybody that's ever played for him or really been involved at Alabama will tell you that.
Yeah, it's really intriguing. And of course, Tua, his favorite receiver is his old Alabama teammate. And they talk about just some of the things, whether it's the feeding of the poor,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, and of course the team members were all involved in that as well. So and but yeah, he's everywhere up there. You're right.
He is. He is a part of the community, and I think that's what is part of the difference that he makes. Not just because he's a good coach, because he surrounds us like any good boss. Let's just put it that way. You surround yourself with people who can do your job, and you surround yourself with people that you want to see grow. Look at how many of his assistant coaches have gone on to be head coaches in places.
Sure.
And that's the same thing. Like when I'm hiring directors, I hire people that can do the job, but people that I feel like I can coach and I can support to eventually do my job or go on to be a regional maintenance director, because that's what's going to better our community itself. It's not, we've had the most net growth in our community in our entire company, but it's not about me. It's not about Pat, my sales director. It's about how my directors work as a team to make that happen.
Oh, sure. And hey, it starts from the top.
It does.
I don't care what business it is. It starts from the top.
You are right, 100%. And when the top doesn't function in the way that it needs to function, it just rolls down and it doesn't work. And there are times where things can be difficult and I get stuck in my office for longer time periods than I want to, and I don't get to get out and see residents like I would like to. And it weighs on residents too, that they don't get to see me and things. So we're doing a 2022 is more of a conscious effort of being even if I'm just sitting in the lobby working on my laptop, just so that I can wave and see people as they walk by.
No, I get it. And it's amazing, because, hey, they want to see
Right.
you.
Just the morale in
Sure.
general.
Yeah.
With not just residents, but staff. And, I have an open door policy, and unfortunately I've had to be on a lot of closed door phone calls because of COVID and the confidentiality and things like that. So I've not been able to have the open door that I like to have. But I make sure that staff and residents know. Sometimes they might have to make an appointment because I have calls going on, but if I can get to them when they walk or when they ask at the front desk, then I am right there trying to answer the questions that I can answer.
So we've got about 5 minutes left. 22 is already shaping up to be kind of cool for Harbor Place.
It is. We are excited about the continued growth. We're excited to be offering events again. It is fantastic to see everything that's going on with the remodel. I am so looking forward to 2022, and I know we said in 2020, oh, we can't wait to get into 2021. But that was for different reasons than what we are excited going into 2022. This year's flown by. I feel like it was just yesterday that we're still dealing with major COVID issues. So I'm looking forward to 2022.
Yeah, it should be a special year, and hopefully sometime next year you can get those civic meetings kicked off in the back room, and that would be wonderful.
We want to start offering the Kiwanis Club or anybody like that wants to come in and have their meetings here. We have that space. We offer lunch as part of it. So anybody out there that needs a space for business meetings, business dinner, things of that nature, please reach out to us. We have this wonderful space. We want to use it as much as possible.
I can't wait for your bistro to open.
Yeah, my culinary director actually did Cuban sandwiches in there the other day, and it smelled so good coming out from the panini press, and they were so good. I look forward to it coming back.
Yeah, that's good. Yet another thing for 2022, right?
Yep.
So Dr. Joe is gonna kick things off around the 20th, you say?
Yes, and I'm so excited that he's going to be here. Call us, reserve your spot. He's going to be talking about joints and knees. 772-337-4330. I'm sure it doesn't matter if it's about knees or not. If you have a question, he's going to have a question and answer period, and he'll go through the best he can with the short time period. Dr. Joe is fantastic. He is my personal orthopedic. I look forward to him coming and speaking and talking about the different ways to fix things and your ailments without having to do surgery, because there are all kinds of options.
Well, and I know when I got rear-ended in an auto accident, it was Dr. Joe and his lovely needle that really helped me out with my back pain. That's for sure. And yeah, and again, it was all non-operative and a little bit of therapy and a little bit of cortisone, and I was good to go.
And I love it because he'll tell you, we can go the surgery route if that's the route you really want to go, but there are other ways to fix this without doing that. Why don't we try that option first? And I love that because there are so many doctors that just want to, boom, let's do surgery. Let's get the quick fix. And unless it's a true emergency, that's not always the correct answer to go. And Dr. Joe will talk through those sorts of things. And I love it. I think he's a fantastic doctor.
Yeah. The sound you hear is cha-ching.
Yeah. But I don't think he listens to the ching ching, even though
he doesn't. No, and that's
you daddy and all. I don't think so. I just think he's a doctor that's truly in it for the patient and the care and the well-being of the patient, and he doesn't jump to surgery. And I think that's fantastic.
I do too. I do too. And I'll tell anybody out there, how good he is, because he's my doc too. There's no doubt about it. So how do we get in touch with you?
Give us a call. So at 772-337-4330. You can say you're coming in for the pain clinic in January, and you need to reserve your spot. That way we know you're going to be here. You can always ask for me. You can ask for Pat. She's our sales director. So if you're interested in moving in or just want to take a tour, looking for down the road, we do those as well. Give us a call. Again, 772-337-4330. You can always look online. Go to centurypa.com. Look for Florida, and then for Port St. Lucie, Harbor Place. We have 4, and be easy. When you go to Florida, there's only 4 buildings in Florida. You can pick us out very easily. And that'll send you directly to our website. That's the easiest way to do it. For me to read out this really long Harbor Place, pts@lucieharborplace.com. If you really want to go that route, it's just easier to go through centurypa.com. Take a look. Look at us. You can schedule a tour that way as well. But the easiest way, like I said, is to give us a call.
Okay. Well, hey, have a real good new year. And hey, we'll talk to you in a year, huh?
Sounds good. See you then.
Okay. Jack Waldrop of Harbor Place. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.